All right, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Marriage Essentials. Just to recap, I'm Ken.
And I'm Shar.
And we do a marriage ministry called Marriage Matters. And this is a video series intended very clearly and simply to equip you to get tools in your tool bag. And largely that comes because when we were married so young, I didn't have any tools necessary to build this thing that God had designed. So we hope to be equipping you for what God has for you in your married lives. We've titled this episode, One Spouse, Many Marriages. And I know when you hear many marriages, that's a little weird bit of a title, but I think as we go, you're going to completely understand where we're going with this. We laugh about it with a lot of people and say, oh, we've been married 6 times. I have had one wife, but married to the same woman through 6 different evolutions of what our marriage looks like. So that's kind of where we're going. And I think it's going to be a big tool in your tool bag.
Well, I really love this principle because it's like a power tool. And I just want to give a little illustration. I'm a gardener, so I like to spend a lot of time in the yard. I have a power tool, a literal power tool that I use in my garden all the time. It's a leaf blower. And I know that sounds weird to some people.
She loves her leaf blower.
And I do. What I love most about it is it has a power turbo button. And so I get out in the yard. Since I'm a gardener, I'm out there a lot. And I like the dust blown off and the leaves out of the garden. And so I get my leaf blower out. And most of the time it is on turbo because I think, hey, if I can have a little power, I'd rather have much more power. This leaf blower has changed my life. I think that it's just made my life so much better with so much less work. And I think this power tool has done that for our marriage too. Many, one spouse, many marriages. That is the premise of this power tool. Right. It has made our life easier.
It makes things new and feel fresh.
It does.
And
it's just better. It just makes my life better. That's so I love this. I love this power tool. And so we're going to go through it very quickly. And I hope it helps you like it has helped me in my marriage.
Yeah, it was a big revelation to us when the Lord showed us this stuff. So we're going to have to do a little Bible work to get us started, set a little groundwork. I think it's important. This tool won't make much sense if we don't understand the world we live in and how radically things change all around us at any given time. And that brings us just to the reality that God, within God's design for his creation, change is everywhere. Change is happening all the time. The seasons change. Right. Our bodies change. Nothing really stays static.
And we change in the Lord. And even these last couple of years that we've talked about in our life, the amount of change that I have had to do in the last 3 years since we started this ministry to marriages has been radical for me.
Yeah, we would love to tell you that if you were married in your 20s or maybe early 30s or whatever it may be, that you get to stay exactly the way you are. And you can be static and never evolve and never change. But this tool is all about how necessary evolution is for us as a human being, the way we go about our life, the way we think, the way we operate, the way we speak. All of it is so important to hold loosely onto everything and allow evolution to happen because your life is going to demand it. That's the reality. Life around you is going to demand that you change. And in married life, some of the most stuck people we know have just never evolved from their 20s. They never have been onwardly transforming due to the new challenges in life, and they stay the same while life is changing all around them, and it can lead a couple to get really, really stuck. Here, this is what I mean. Just listen to a casual reading of just a few verses in Scripture. This is from 2 Corinthians 3:18. But we all, that means all right? With unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory by the Spirit of the Lord. Our walk with Jesus itself, the most central thing about who we are, the most central part of our identity isn't that I'm a married man. It's that I'm a follower of Jesus and a child of God. At that basic core portion of our identity, it's changing all the time, from glory to glory to glory. That's God's design for us as followers of Jesus, as his children. 1 Corinthians 13:11 says it another way. Paul writes, when I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood things as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. That's transformation language. That language is all about how God takes us from glory to glory and changes things in our life. We love Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. I'm going to let Charlene read this.
So Ecclesiastes 3, 1 through 8. To everything there's a season, a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace.
Isn't that amazing?
It is. It covers everything in life.
It does. Change is absolutely necessary to keep up with the new challenges in life that come at us in many, many ways. We'll talk about some of them here in a moment. Again, so if you thought that, hey, I get married, we're awesome for about a year, and then life starts changing, a baby comes, a layoff happens. And if we're not evolving in the way we're doing married life, we can find ourselves stuck really quick. We love to use the analogy of a computer, right?
You do.
I do. It just makes so much sense to me. The first computer, just ask yourself the question, or if you're in a group, go around the room. How many of you use computers in your life? Probably all of you, or nearly all of you do.
Well, now it could just be a phone.
That's computer. Yeah.
Well, it is. But it's
yeah.
a phone.
Yeah. So here's the point. Computers come hardwired. They have hardware and programming that only allows them to do certain things. And they're awesome. They do it really, really well. The first computer I turned on was in 1992. It was called, what was it called? A 386. Pentium didn't exist. Quad core didn't exist. All this stuff. Now, the internet barely existed. It was brand new. And Bible software at the time was pretty simple. And man, did it help me study. It cut my study time.
I loved it.
I was teaching 3 and 4 times a week. And so the preparation time, doing due diligence was brutal. So I was so excited. It made my life so much easier, right? Until it didn't. And then what was happening was new software was being written, Bible software. The internet was just becoming a beast. And my little 386 machine was starting to jam up on me and spin, to get the little wheel that spins and spins and spins forever. And so I the very machine that once made me just go, oh, this thing is so awesome. Now I'm ready to kick it across the floor. I'm so frustrated with it and everything, and it's not working for me. Not its fault. It could only do what it's hardwired to do, and the demands outside of it were demanding simply more than it was prepared to accomplish. It couldn't accomplish it, right? Your marriage is not unlike that. When people get stuck, it's often because something has occurred outside of them, a challenge in the world. And we're going to go through some of those that provoked us getting a new marriage, throwing an old marriage away, literally deciding we can't operate that way anymore. Or at least in that arena or sphere, we can't operate that way anymore. And we adopt a new way. We re-hardwire that meets the challenge of that new time in life. So it's pretty self-explanatory. One spouse, but we've had many marriages. We're in marriage number 6 right now.
We counted them last night.
We did.
We think it's 6.
Yeah. And each one was provoked by something changing that demanded that I change, that we change. Something about the way we're operating, maybe the way we communicate, maybe the way we manage money, maybe the way we manage time. which was hurting us. We weren't operating well. What happens is you begin to argue more. There's more tension. We're stuck. We're not progressing. We're not growing deeper in love with each other. And so when you begin to feel that way, a lot of times that's signaling that marriage is over. You need to overhaul what's happening to meet the new challenges of the day. So I think what we want to do is go on down here and share a little bit about what has caused us to evolve over time into marriage number 6, right?
Right. And in some of the episodes, I've talked about our story. And so we're just going to give you a little glimpse of our story through these seasons of life. And think about yours, because if you've been married over about a year, you've probably already seen things start to change in areas. Depends on your career, or if you have children, if you had a blended family, or whatever it is, things aren't always the same. After we had 3 kids, well, we had 3, and things really did start to change. Our marriage could not stay the same. It just couldn't. We were in some conflict. And that's how you kind of know that the season is starting to change. Is, for us at least, it was more conflict. We weren't getting along as well. We were arguing about a few things that was causing me or him to be overwhelmed. It was mostly me at the time. And so our first marriage was before we had children. And then marriage number 2 came when we had children. And that's very common for your marriages to completely change. Ours completely changed.
Yeah. After the 3rd child, just things like how we managed our income, how we managed money, or how I managed a hobby, things had to change. If I'd have stayed the same 19-year-old kid that I was when we married and through our first few years, dude, I could go play racquetball every day after work. There was not a care in the world. It didn't matter because we had all night, all weekends, and we had money to blow doing just about anything we wanted, and we did. And then you throw 3 kids quickly in the mix over, 5 years?
Right.
And if I'd have stayed that same guy, I'd have wrecked our married life.
Well, and in some areas, that's how we knew we had to change, because Kenny's hobbies, I was like, hey, if you've got a hobby, then I want a hobby. So that means if I'm staying home and watching the kids,
sure.
This sounds a little shallow, but if I'm staying home with the kids all day and then after work and into the night for your hobbies, then I guess I'm taking off all day Saturday and I'm going to do the things I want to do. Yeah. Or we can both stay here together, have a family life, and we both just kind of put our hobbies on hold for a while we're managing this growing family.
So that we could learn, and here's the point, so that we could learn to be awesome together while having 3 little children. What happened was that changed so much outside of Charlene and I, 3 kids entering our life, that we weren't awesome anymore. We were struggling and tense, and there were arguments that were hurting us, right? So we realized we're not doing well right now, and we think it's because life has changed so much on us. Our hardwiring isn't good. And so we're going to throw away everything we thought we knew. We're just going to trash can it like I do a computer. I don't even upgrade them anymore because that might buy you a few months. But we're not talking about little Band-Aids or upgrades. We're talking about considering that day dead. And I need to be new. We need to be new. We need to manage the different spheres of our life, which we're going to talk about here in a moment, better together. So that was marriage 1, was before children.
Right before children. And I'm sure a lot of you, as we're talking, are thinking of your life before children and then after children and how it drastically changed. Because throwing that little baby in the mix can get a little bit
And if you think that doesn't change stuff, you're just wrong, man.
So anyway, marriage number 2 was a career shift.
That launched us into number 3.
To pastoring full time. And at the same time, we got our first home.
Right.
So we had some big issues with time and big issues with money.
Yep.
Because it demanded more intentionality on how we budgeted and how we took care of our time together. Yeah. And that lasted for a long time, probably throughout raising children and into our 40s. And then we had teenagers, which were not that bad.
No.
It's just continuation.
Busier. Life just got much busier.
Yes, it did.
with adolescents
and more
infants.
money.
Yeah.
And then, so that was marriage number 3. Then we came to marriage number 4, empty nest. Now, I know a lot of you out here, you're going, oh, I can't wait to get to empty nest because you're raising those kids and it's tough. And empty nest was great.
It was good.
It really was good. We didn't go through too much of a heartache. Our children were at school, coming home, going, coming, everyone, and it was okay.
But how do now be able to invest in each other and in our married life? We didn't get a lot of chance to because life was so busy in marriage number 3 that marriage number 4 now allowed us. We could spend a little bit more money on us and do things together. We didn't know how to do that very well. Again, communication had to evolve. Our intimate life went through some changes at that time. And so, again, even a good thing, an empty nest, right? New exciting thing, required us to revisit our married life. Are we doing it well? Are we awesome again?
But we do find that people, when they enter the empty nest stage, it's if they haven't been changing and evolving through the first part of their marriage, you might not know your spouse very well at this stage because you're left alone with each other.
Yeah.
And it could be 20, 25 years. And if no input and changes have happened through the years, it's kind of a scary time for some couples because they almost have to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. They have to go back to the drawing board and go, it's me and you now. How do we do this? How do we not involve the kids in every single thing that we do? Right. How do we have a life that's just us?
Even rebuilding a social life at that time, making new friends, that took intentionality. And really that came from Charlene. She said, where we are in life, we need to, one of the things we did evaluate and change was our approach to a social life with others. We invited more people into our home, had more dinners and invited people. We wanted to build more relationship with more people. So we were able to do that.
But it does take some time and thoughtfulness and intentionality.
Right.
Each of these changes are not easy. I'm a creature of habit. I like the same thing over and over. I like to go to the same restaurants. I like to go to the same beach town when I go out of town. I like the same thing over and over and over. And we are creatures of habit. And new things sometimes are scary.
Right.
Because you don't know where to start. I think for me, in my personality, I don't know where to start with a new thing. But together, it'll be actually wonderful to start a new thing. If you feel like some areas need changing and the demands.
This really can be exciting because all of a sudden you realize we're not stuck anymore. Yeah. I'm not operating the same. We're talking to each other differently. We're doing different things with our time, with our money. Yeah. So this can be really, really exciting.
Yeah, it is.
What launched us into marriage 5?
Well, actually menopause and caring for parents and also the death of our parents.
Yeah.
And at the same time, our children were getting married and having grandchildren.
That's a lot going on. And we weren't prepared for that.
No, we weren't.
That was adding new dynamics, just even caring for parents and then losing parents as they go on to be with the Lord. Here's what's important. You're each having to learn with those realities going on, how can I love you really well?
Right. And
I didn't know how to love Charlene well through the loss of her dad first and then her mom, the caring of her mothers in and out of our home. And we're having to make room for that in our life. I didn't necessarily do well. I had to evolve and we had to talk that through. What is this going to mean to our life and how do we stay awesome while we're caring for parents? Or your body was going through some pretty radical changes through menopause. So all of that really slammed us. We realized, okay, we're not doing as well as we need to. Let's reevaluate, enter into another marriage. And we did.
Because this was a very difficult time, even to be for us, because we didn't have a lot of time for us with all the changes in my family. We were slamming. He's working, I'm working. We both have jobs and we have parents and we have children and new grandchildren. I'm flying off to help take care of them. I'm like, I can't do all of this. But
so upping my game and operating differently and listening to Charlene a lot. I needed to listen a lot and understand how this whole time was affecting her. And it did demand a lot of change for both of us. It was a big challenge for us.
It was a challenge.
And think of this, if being awesome together is the goal, right? Then each change in life like that, each season like that makes it difficult, and you have to adjust. You have to evolve and have to change.
And he could have said, hey, it's your dad. You take care of him. I'm sleeping at home, and I've got a job, and I've got to go take care of it. It would have been very difficult for our marriage. It really would have.
Sure.
Because I needed something different. I needed more of him. And he changed. And it was awesome. That was marriage number 5. That lasted probably about 12 years during that period. And it was a difficult season of life.
Once Charlene's dad passed away, then it was caring for her mom. And she out-survived him by what, 8 years?
6 years.
6 years.
And she had to come live with us for a while. It was a season.
So learning how to be awesome together was a challenge during that time.
So after that happened,
coming into the marriage we're in now.
Number 6, and glad we're here.
Yeah.
But it has had its challenges because we work from home now. And Kenny working here with me all day when he wasn't here a lot for most of our marriage. To have him here, and I've heard other couples that either they're in retirement or working from home or whatever, it's an adjustment. And it's taken us about 3 years.
Oh, dude, the first month was like, I was under her feet so bad. And she would look at me like, okay, time out. You need to go do something. And she's had her world and been in total command of our household, right? Because I'm gone a lot. I just worked a lot of hours. I'm a self-professed workaholic and love what I did in full-time ministry. So that was a big change. And I'd find myself going, hey, are you sure you should put that there? Can't we rearrange it? And she's like, dude, you got to get out of my space, man. And for some of that first month, we realized, okay.
It's a little more than a month.
Okay, we're not doing awesome anymore. We need to be awesome again. So let's go to work and figure out what we're going to have to change together.
I remember once that he was sitting at his desk where he loves to sit. And I remember one day going in there going, you're home a lot more now and you have some time. Could you help me with some of the chores around here? And he goes, no, you go, well, sure. Just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. And I go, no, I mean, take over the chores. Like, it's your responsibility. I don't have to remind you every day. And you do them. It's like, it's off my plate and now on yours. Can we pass some things to you? And I remember him.
I got a better solution. How about I go rent an office downtown somewhere?
But he goes, I don't think I want to do that. I go, so it became a different season of our life and a different marriage.
New marriage time. Here we go.
It was. It became a new marriage. It's like, we're together now almost 24/7 and things has to change a little bit. And it was cool. Yeah. I mean, it took us a couple, 3 years to really get into the group, but we're there now.
We're pretty adjusted now. You guys are getting the point. I know you have to evolve. Your marriage is hardwired. We tend to hardwire our marriage quickly. In the first 6 months or 1 year of a young marriage, we're hardwired. We deal with tension a certain way. We deal with our sexual life a certain way. We deal with conflict resolution. We deal with our families. We deal with money a certain way. We settle in and it's awesome. What we're saying is that's not going to be awesome when life starts changing on you and you've got to change. So how do you go about it? Because there's a mistake that a lot of couples, when they hear this, they go, okay. On the way out the door tonight, honey, let's go change our life. Let's get a new marriage. That sounds exciting. Let's do what Ken and Shar do, and let's go get a new marriage, right? And get caught up. Problem is, it's so big, you don't know where to start. So what we've learned, even about our own life, is we had to look at our life not as one big giant whole, but as different spheres that we live our life out in, because there may be some arenas of your life that are awesome. You don't need to change a thing. You're doing so good, maybe the way you manage money. No changes there. It's healthy.
Right.
You're not incurring a lot of debt. There's not arguments. You're at peace about it. You have a vision from the Lord. Everything's awesome. But there's another area of life that you need to visit. and tweak some things and change some things. So what we want to do now is go through what we call the spheres of life so that you can make it manageable when you do sit down and go, honey, we need something new. We're not awesome right now. Babe, how do we get caught up? And it's a way to evaluate different spheres of your life to go, okay, this is the one that's hurting us. This we need to rewire and do better. Right?
And you're going to have some time after this video to sit down and do exactly that. You're going to talk to each other. One of you might say, this area we need time, that we need to tweak a bit. And one of you might say, and this area I need tweaked a bit, because you're not always on the same page of what's causing you conflict or stress.
So let's go through these. We only have a little bit of time left in this episode, so let's go through them pretty quickly. They're pretty self-explanatory. Again, these are the spheres that you live your life out in. That is a great way to take bite-sized attempts at rewiring a marriage to get a new one, right? So number one, and in no particular order, right? There's hobbies. We ditched hobbies. I think, Charlene, you said at the end of our first marriage, with 3 children landing so quickly, I haven't had a hobby in 45 years.
And now I'm telling him, why don't you get a hobby?
Yes, yeah, that's changing now.
Yeah. You've got some time. Get a hobby.
Right. But there was a time where hobbies had no place if I was going to love her well and she me. Life was too demanding. And we had to rewire hobbies out of our life, right? Another is just your career life. There was a time where I remember quitting a job because the demands of that job, we were young. I was in the oil and gas industry at the time, not in full-time ministry yet in my life. But the demands of that particular job were so high and the returns so low that I just quit one day going, this is not healthy for us. Careers can do that. We've counseled plenty of couples where a demanding career has to change or they're just not going to survive, right? So sometimes careers need to be changed. Ministry life.
Well,
right?
for us, ministry life was demanding.
Was our career.
Yes. So not all of you will go through that, but some of you might.
Well, there can be over volunteerism.
Yes, it can.
Even pastoring, there were times where I'd see someone at the church 3 nights a week, 4 nights. I'd say, look, you need to go home. This will get done by somebody else. You need to go home right now. You're here too much. So over volunteerism, which again has to do with time management, you know.
And then we have social life. You all probably have a social life. One might think you need more. One might think you need less. But if it's causing you some conflict, you're going to have to change that. So as you're listening to all of these, just start thinking about your life and which one might pertain to you, 1 or 2 of these. Then you have marital intimacy and your sexual life. That's ever evolving. From when you get married until you die, it changes all the way through. And you have to stay on top of what is changing through your life. You have less time, you have less money, you can't go away as much, your hormones start changing, everything changes.
So how you operate within your marriage in terms of marital intimacy has to change throughout all these different stations in life.
Exactly right.
Right. And by the way, physical changes in our bodies over time play a big part in that. Now, we're approaching 7 years old right now, so there are physical realities that every couple that's married for long term will have to face and learn how to have a really healthy, active, enjoyable, intimate life through all those physical changes in life, right?
And then there is your financial life, which usually does ebb and flow. At least ours have. And the changes that can bring you and feeling overwhelmed and stressed out. And sometimes you have to pull it back, get a budget and say
no more spending here. Yeah.
And it takes the stress out of it.
We reinvest here.
Right.
You know, there's caring for parent. There's different things that can be dropped in your lap that are going to force you to rewire your financial life so that there's not tension here. Yes. There's not conflict here.
Right. And then there's technology. We've gone over that.
Where does technology fit?
Yeah, where does that fit? Even TV watching and
gaming.
Young
couples, everyone we've ever talked to has to deal with gaming. Where's it going to fit in your life? And that has to, you throw, maybe when they're with no children, that's not even a worry. Just you can play games, right? But you throw a child or two quickly into a young marriage, and my hunch is your gaming is going to go, right? It needs to.
And then there's entertainment, and then there's health issues, which we kind of touched on previously, but they can change your marriage overnight. Somebody might have a surgery or a fall, a car accident. You don't know.
We never had to worry much about investing in our health in our 20s and 30s. I was late to the party in my 40s. I had back issues. I was gaining too much weight. Now health becomes an issue, and we've rewired to where health is a priority in our marital life now, right? I know she loves me when I'm healthy. It's just part of adapting to each change in your life, right?
And then the last is just extended family. And we already touched on it with parent care. And
influencing grandchildren.
Influencing grandchildren.
And investing there, right?
So these are some of the spheres we have gone through. And we want you just to think about what you guys might be having conflict over right now. And that'll help you decide, where do we need to have some changes and tweaks? It doesn't have to be wholesale. It's just a little tweak here and a little tweak there. And pretty soon you're working together as a couple. It becomes more harmonious.
A lot of times it's you get these tips, and we'll close with this thought, is from your partner. Honey, you're gone too much. Honey, we can't keep spending this much money. Honey, I want to spend more time with the grandkids. Honey, and this happened to us. Charlene would say, honey, I need you in the gym. I need you. You've got to start taking care of your body. I'm worried for you. And I just fought that. But again, loving her well would include, in that rewiring, getting that new marriage, is me starting to take care of my body better, right? So that's how you kind of know, look, we're not doing awesome when you hear your partner going, babe, I need less of this or more of that, or I wish this, I wish that. And when you start hearing that, you go, okay, it's time to evaluate these different spheres. Just evaluate it, right?
Mm-hmm. It's not that one person gets their way.
Right.
It means we feel we're having some conflict here. Right. How to adjust what we're doing to make it better, to make our marriage better.
So in your life, you're going to have one spouse. But trust me, if you do it well, you're going to have many, many marriages. Yeah. We think we'll have 7 or 8 at the end. The last one will be one of us will have to learn to love each other well while they're dying. Neither of us know how to do that. To be quite frank, we're petrified of that. I don't know what it's going to do to me if Charlene goes to be with the Lord before me. We've had these conversations where she goes, I'm not going to know how to love you when you're dying. I don't know how to do that. And we don't. And I know the Lord will show us. If we have a teachable spirit, we'll enter into that new marriage number 8 or whatever it's going to be, and we'll succeed in loving each other well. Mm-hmm. That will be the last chapter or marriage that we will enjoy together, right? So I suppose the big tip here is be courageous. Mm-hmm. Be courageous at knowing when it's time to throw away the old, get the new, look at each sphere of life, take some time, talk that through, and tweak what you need to tweak. And all of a sudden, you'll find we're awesome again. We're doing great again. We feel healthy again, right? Mm-hmm. Awesome. Man, I hope that helps. For us, that's been a massive power tool.
It's helped us a lot.
Hope it is for you too. Yeah. So until next episode, thanks for being with us. God bless you. He loves you guys so much.
Bye-bye.